Hi there, in this video we're going to see if AI can beat me or can beat you at naming a music track. And I have to be totally honest about this and say that one of the major uses that I've found for artificial intelligence over the last year or two is in helping me come up with titles for music tracks. Um, and I've got 650 odd music tracks in libraries at the moment, so I've done a lot of this. But I still find actually coming up with names for tracks really hard, and necessarily I don't usually well like I say I don't usually use the actual names that the AI comes up with. I'll probably have done on occasion. I do use it more as a sort of bouncing block, starting ideas type tool, or sometimes I can get it to put two things together that it's come up with, and occasionally it really surprises me and comes up with something much better than I ever would have done. So we're not going to listen to the whole of this track, but just to give you a little bit of a flavour of the track that we're going to name, and we'll see if we can come up with anything. So let's just go from the beginning. Okay, it wanders on like that a little bit. The end sounds like this. Okay, so as with anything, the thing to do is to give the machine as much sort of information as possible and be as clear as you can in its prompt. So, uh, all right, I'm going to ask you. I was going to say, can you suggest some titles for a music track? The titles need to be short, maybe 2 or 3 words. The vibe of the track is magical, ethereal, it has a sense of longing, I think, sense of beauty, magically sense of longing, beautiful, orchestral. Let's see what it comes up with just that for a start. Okay, well, there's obviously some really rubbish ones in there, like Twilight Song. None of those are. Well, okay. Celestial, it's a bit too. Glass Garden's quite nice. So, okay, Forgotten Light. Okay, I'm thinking of something a little more like fairies or magical beings or animals. Maybe a nighttime vibe. Woodland or forest. Yes, it's so. It's the ChatGPT is so horribly cloyingly nice to you. Whisperkin. Thistle. Okay, this is a Moonlit Hollow. Okay, this is pretty good. Dusk is a good word. Twilight is a good word. Now, so from this list here, I've started to think Moonlit Hollow would almost do actually. Moonlit is good. The word hollow has a sort of sense of a vibe to it. Whisperkin is quite nice. It has a sense of sort of magic to it. Glimmer Fox, Twilight Moth. Okay. Can you be any less cheesy? Stillgrove, Palewing, Underfern, Ashlight. Ashlight is nice. Okay, the thing that's sticking out to me then is Moonlit Hollow. So I suppose the first stage of this is just to sort of do a bit of a brainstorm and then see if you can narrow it down. So I'm going to ask it, can you play with the title Moonlit Hollow? Give me some more variations on that. Yes, it does. Nocturnal, that's actually spatial, quite enchanted. Hollow by Moonlight? Moonshadow. Did I just read that, or did I just come up with that? Okay, well, I've just come up with that, I think, from somewhere. And I actually quite like that, but I think that's just... So the whole Moonlight thing is quite good. The word shadow must be in here somewhere, and I've just come up with the title. What was it? Moonshadow. Can you develop that? Night shadow, moon. Okay, so moon shadow works for me, I have to say, and I've sort of come up with that from this list that it gave me here. But say I hadn't come up with that. Well, let's go back. What did we go for? Moonlit Hollow. Hollow under moon. Okay, let's swap out the word hollow. Let's see what it does now. So moonlit something. Moonlit Grove is quite nice. Moonlit Thicket. Some of these are so awkward. Moonlit. At least Moonlit Valewood. That's nice. I would have come up with that myself. So what have we got so far? Valewood and Moonlit Shadow, did I say? Moonshadow is nice. Valewood possibly also as well. Okay, let's keep exploring. It came up with the word nocturnal itself up here, which I didn't come up with, which is what I should have done somewhere here. Look, nocturnal, quiet and elusive. Can you suggest some nocturnal, quiet and elusive titles? Yes, of course I can, because I'm ever helpful. No, they're rubbish. So I think probably... Okay, there's nothing. Shape in the Dark. Shape in the Dark will be good for like a tension track. Okay, so what have we got here then? We started off with these. None of those were any good particularly. So what did I ask it to do? A few more words. And it came out with a couple of things. Moonlit Hollow. And I think and there's a load of rubbish as well, but there's one or two little gems in here is the whole point. And you have to just sort of not give up, but just sort of keep digging. And then, like I did here, then you sort of put two and two together, and come up with something that works. Like Moon Shadow is probably the best one of them, and I would use that, I think. Hollow by Moonlight. So half of the battle is just sort of sifting through the moon dim, sifting through the dross, as it were. But it does occasionally come up with some really good stuff. The word half light is quite good. You could get it to play with half light. You know, it has that sort of sense of ethereal magic to it, I think, sort of. Traces of moon, I don't know, shadow between the pines. I mean, come on. Moonlit glade, that's quite nice. In fact, I think I have a track called something like that. That has both the word moonlit and glade have a certain sort of ambience and magic to them that fit that track. But again, you're having to sift and look through. So the question is, can AI name my track better than me? It could probably name it quicker than me, because I would have probably got to something like, we had, what was it, Moon Shadow, Moonlight Shadow, Moon Shadow, myself probably, but I don't think I'd have done it in 5 minutes like this. It gives you so much sort of raw material to work with. And actually, interestingly, the title that I like, Moon Shadow, is not even on the page here. It's just popped into my head from reading the stuff down here, which is, I think, probably as a catalyst where ChatGPT is really, really helpful for creative work. Moss light, fallen glow, that's quite nice for a sort of darker, warmer sort of sound. Dark drift is nice. And what you could do is just keep a list of, you know, things that appeal. These work as titles, particularly for production music tracks, but maybe not for the actual track that I've got. Vanished light is quite nice. It's quite evocative. Evening trace, maybe. Before it fades is a bit dramatic. Okay, I hope that's of some use. Play with it yourself. I genuinely think it's a really useful tool for naming tracks. What's the key being to just talk to it up here. I probably didn't put in enough words up here. I should have put in Moonlight Nocturnal, things like that might have worked quite well. So if you can come up with a really long list of descriptive words up here, that makes a really big sort of difference. Okay, hope that was useful, and I'll hopefully see you in another video soon. Thanks then. Bye bye.